Yankees just keep on winning. That's now 9 games in a row that the Yankees have won. And they've won 8 straight series, 12 of their last 13 as well. So they're up to 20 games over 500, which would have seemed like a stretch. I mean, a huge stretch, especially this soon. I mean, to be, as we record this August 22nd, to be 20 games above 500 is just remarkable, speaks to how well they've been playing. And they followed up the Red Sox series by doing what they do, which is always beating the Minnesota Twins. That's been a thing now for almost 2 decades. It's a team that they have always had success against, even when Minnesota's been good. So this has been a Twins team that has struggled this year. They've been a major disappointment, and the Yankees didn't trail at any point in this series. This was a relatively stress-free series, which the Yankees needed. As much as they were winning games, they weren't really winning them convincingly. They were having to use a lot of their best relievers. So it was nice that in a couple of these games, they didn't have to. This was supposed to be a 4-game series, but similar to the Angels series earlier in the season, the last game was postponed. So that has been moved to September. So the Yankees, as it turns out, they win the series, however you want to look at it, even if they somehow lost that game later on. But it goes down, I guess, currently as a sweep, if you will. But Yankees getting a lot of contributions, like I said last time, from a bunch of different guys. It's really quite remarkable. And yeah, in this series, it started out that way as Jameson Taillon would win again. And Taillon cruised through the first 5 innings, had trouble in the 6th, but ends up getting the win, pitches pretty well. Would go up against John Gant, who former St. Louis Cardinal, who got hit around pretty good. And Luke Voit is someone that comes to mind, who there was a lot of talk about Luke Voit in regards to the fact that Anthony Rizzo was, acquired. And so Voit kind of lost that first base job, but it seems that they're going to rotate it a bit, where Voit will get DH days, maybe the occasional day at first to spell Rizzo coming off of COVID. It's really been something special. And in this one, Voit would actually bat leadoff, play DH, as in the first game they gave DJ LeMahieu the day off. And the Yankees would get the scoring rolling in the 3rd, as it would be Andrew Velasquez who would get a leadoff triple. And Velasquez again continued to have some big moments in this series. So where we left off in that Red Sox series, Velasquez continues with the triple, and then it's a RBI double for Kyle Higashioka. And Higashioka, I've noticed, he's been hitting the ball better lately. A lot of fly balls, deep fly balls, and line drives. And so Higashioka makes it 1-0. Then Tyler Wade walks. And again, Tyler Wade, another guy where his at-bat quality has improved drastically when the Yankees, during the stretch. And so Wade gets a walk, and then it is a 2-run double for Luke Voit. And Voit had a monster series and is really showing that he needs to be in this lineup. And I can't argue with that. So Voit gets a 2-run double, and then he would go to 3rd on the throw home. And then Anthony Rizzo gets a sac fly. So Rizzo, again, just the quality at bat. He's not going to, whereas that first series against the Marlins, he really tore it up. Don't expect things like that, but do expect just fundamentals and, putting the ball in play when it needs to happen. That's what he does. Makes it 4-0. Then in the next inning, it would be a 2-out rally. Gant would be out of the game at this point, and it would be an infield single by Andrew Velasquez. He's still second, and the Yankees have been stealing bases at a crazy clip. They went from really being the lowest in the league at steals to now the highest within a certain span. Something along the lines of they had 20 steals through, let's just say, I don't know, the first 3 months, probably more than that, probably going to July. And then since probably around the All-Star break, maybe a little bit before, the Yankees are the most steals in baseball with like 30. So it's great to see. And then Kyle Higashioka gets a 2-run homer. So Higgy with a really big one, where in this game, it was a lot of the lower parts of the lineup that came through. Like I said, Velasquez, Higashioka, and that would make it 6-0. Then, like I said, in the 6th, Taillon runs into some trouble. Jake Cave homers, the piece that was traded to get Luis Gil in 2018. Jake Cave homers, makes it 2-1, and then eventually you'd get a 2-run ground rule double by Jorge Polanco, makes it 6-3. But in comes Wandy Peralta, Peralta shuts down the rest of that inning and then pitches a scoreless 7. So Peralta continues to be a really vital piece in that bullpen. Then in the top of the 8th, Zach Britton would get into some trouble. A 1-out single, infield single by Andrelton Simmons. He would move to second on a wild pitch. Then Max Kepler helps Britton out as he strikes out on a pitch that would have been ball 4. And then it's an RBI single for Jorge Polanco. So 3 RBIs for Polanco. Britton would then get Donaldson to strike out. So a bit of a shaky inning for Britton after he had been looking a little bit better lately. He does get a couple of strikeouts today, which is a good sign. But it's the key there is that you want Zach Britton to have a multi-run lead. That to me, I found with him and Chapman, if they come into a one-run game, it could be problematic. Bottom of the 8th, it would be Giancarlo Stanton with a solo homer to give the Yankees a much-needed run. The Yankees would then regain that 3-run lead. And Stanton's been good lately. Stanton, a very streaky hitter, and at times looks very, very bad. That's just the way he swings and his approach. But Stanton, I believe, still has a pretty lengthy on-base streak. And he's been playing the outfield as he did in this game. And it just works. I would stick with that. Let Stanton continue to play in the outfield. It makes the lineup better. And he's not killing him out there by any means. Not yet, at least. So then Chad Green comes out in the 9th, and with 1 out, Miguel Sano would homer. But other than that, Green gets the job done. So, we know Chad Green's apt to the home run ball. It bites him again there, but the Yankees get the win. This would be definitely the toughest of the 3, where the Yankees take that 6-0 lead, but Minnesota made it a little bit interesting, but the Yankees hold on to win at 7-5. Game 2 would be Nasty Nestor. Nestor Cortez has been great, and he would go 7 innings in this one. 7, which is a career high for him. It's just been an amazing story what Nestor Cortez Jr. has done for this team, and you trust him. Whereas in 2019, he started out good, and it really fell. It's just not happening now. He has been really tough to hit for opposing hitters, and we'll see if it continues. So in this one, it would be an early start for the Yanks, and lefty Charlie Barnes would kind of have to take it for the Twins. He didn't pitch well, but he stuck in there for 5 innings, but it wasn't a good outing for him. And in the first, walks to LeMahieu and Judge, then Joey Gallo would strike out. And with Gallo, again, it hasn't been great, in my opinion. But with the Yankees winning as much as they have, again, on a 9-game winning streak, you're not going to hear about it. But Gallo has been someone who I think could be a little bit better. But Stanton is hit by a pitch. You have bases loaded, and it's that guy, Luke Voit. Big 2-run single for Luke Voit makes it 2-0. And then later in the inning, you would get a bases loaded walk by Andrew Velasquez to make it 3-0. And then Brett Gardner gets an RBI single, but then Gary Sanchez, who had singled earlier, would be thrown out. So it stays at 4-0 there. In this bottom of the second, Aaron Judge gets in on the act after LeMahieu gets leadoff single to start the second. Judge gets a 2-run homer to make it 6-0. Then in the fourth, it would be a ground rule RBI double by Luke Voit. So again, Voit continuing his hot hitting. He had a monster night that would only continue. But in the sixth, Cortez gives up a 2-run homer to Josh Donaldson. That would be the only trouble that he would have all night. And then at the bottom of the seventh, Luke Voit again. Luke Voit with a home run. At that point, 4 for 4 in the game. And then in the bottom of the eighth, it would be a 2-run homer for DJ LeMahieu, which is good to see. Is his first home run in a while. It was a homer to the left, which we haven't really seen him pull homers a whole lot. But he would there, and that would make it 10-2. And that would be the final, 10-2. So, Luke Voit, 4 for 5, 4 RBIs, really big game for him. And like I said, Nestor Cortez comes through. Joely Rodriguez would throw a scoreless 8th inning, get a couple strikeouts. He's been good since he was acquired from Texas. And then Brady Corner, who was sent down after the game, he pitches a scoreless 9th. So he was sent down. They would call up Estevan Florial, who would then be sent down after the third game. We'll get into what that roster move could present in what would eventually be the third and final game. It would be Garrett Cole. And Garrett Cole pitched well. And it would be against Kenta Maeda. Maeda was good to start. Then he had a little bit of what I think it was a forearm issue. So he would get into some trouble. He would leave the game. The Yankees would eventually get him. And that's what the Yankees have done. They've been grinding away at pitchers. Really just, they'll get you at some point lately. and they'll hit you with a really big inning. And this time it was the fifth inning. But before that, it would be the second inning where a hit by pitch to Rougned Odor, a single for Luke Voigt, and then eventually it would be a 2-out. And the Yankees, deserved maybe a little bit of a better fate that inning, as Velasquez would line out and Higashioka would hit a nice fly ball. It was a single but not, it doesn't count as a single because Voigt was thrown out at second. Voigt was kind of in no man's land, but Tyler Wade comes through with 2 outs. It's an opposite field RBI single for Wade, who again has been really big for the Yankees. Then we move to the fifth, and Cole runs into some trouble. Cole, bases loaded, 1 out. He strikes out, I would say, their best hitter in Jorge Polanco. And then he strikes out Josh Donaldson. If you remember, there was that whole thing with Donaldson calling out Cole for the Spidey tax stuff. Cole looked pretty good today. Or not today, excuse me, the last game. And would strike Donaldson out, looking. Then in the fifth, the Yankees get going. With 1 out, Tyler Wade gets a double, uses that speed to get it. Then DJ LeMahieu singles. Anthony Rizzo's hit by a pitch, bases loaded, and it's a wild pitch that scores a run. We've seen that a lot for the Yanks, where they've scored on wild pitches, and Wade would score. Then Judge walks. So you have bases loaded, 2-0 game. Maeda comes out, and it's a 2-run double for Giancarlo Stanton. And then later on, it would be a 2-run double for Luke Voigt. So Stanton continues the hot hitting, Voigt the same, and that makes it 6-0. Cole would be done after 6. And then in the 7th, Lucas Licky would come on, pitches a 1-2-3 7th inning. What was interesting at the bottom of the 7th was, I don't think I've never seen this, and I don't know if I'll ever see it again. Rougned Odor calls timeout. They grant it to him, and then the pitch is thrown, and he hits out of the park. Would have been a 3-run homer if they hadn't granted him timeout. It was bizarre. Yankees end up winning the game anyway, but a 3-run home run taken away from Odor because he called timeout. And then he ends up striking out. So in the 8th, Licky would give up a home run to Jorge Polanco. That would make it 6-1. But other than that, he was fine. And then in the bottom of the 8th, to kind of cap off the series, Andrew Velasquez hits his first career Major League home run. And, his family was there. They got very emotional. Just a great story what's happened with Velasquez. It won't last simply because of a numbers game, but he deserves to be getting playing time for the time being. Wade and Velasquez, with Gleyber Torres out, they've filled in admirably at shortstop, and in some ways have actually been better than Gleyber. I wouldn't expect that to last, but going to enjoy it for now. And then Albert Abreu pitches a 1-2-3 inning to end it. And Abreu, another guy that continues to pitch well out of the bullpen. And so the Yankees would get those 3 straight wins against the Twins. And now they're headed for a very important and a very challenging road trip, as they are first going to go to Atlanta for a 2-game set. They had faced Atlanta earlier in the year for 2. They split at Yankee Stadium back in, I want to say that was April. Yeah, it was in April. And then they have 4 games at Oakland, which is going to be very big for the wild card, and then 3 at the Angels. And so, yeah, like when I handicap this 9-game road trip, honestly, of course, I think Tampa, at this point, you have to set your sights on Tampa in that division. The Yankees are 4 back in the loss column of Tampa with 1 series to go, the last series of the season, home against the Rays. You want to get a little bit, I guess, greedy in that sense. But look, Atlanta is also on a 9-game winning streak. Yankees and Braves collide with both teams with 9-game winning streaks. That is, I wonder how that fits in statistically in terms of 2 teams with that great a winning streak playing against each other. But we don't know the pitching matchups yet. It was supposed to be Luis Gil for the last game of the Twins series. That was probably going to be the spot for Florial on the roster. So I don't know whether we're going to see a situation where they skip Gil. You're going to see Montgomery in these 2 games, but the question is, will it be Gil Montgomery or Montgomery Heaney? We'll find that out. For the Braves, it's going to be Yanoa and Morton. And Morton has always given the Yankees problems, and Morton's had a really good year for the Braves. And Yanoa has been, he has good numbers as well. So this won't be easy. And then 4 games at Oakland is going to be tough as well. Oakland Coliseum has been a bit of a house of horrors for the Yankees in recent years. Bit of a unique stadium. Won't be easy. And they have 3 at the Angels. So I'm hoping if they can go 5-4 in these 9 games, I will sign up for that. 6-3, I'd be thrilled. But you got to figure the Yankees, it's going to dip a little bit. And it would make sense for that to kind of be now. Again, these are tough games. So if you split with the Braves and split with Oakland, I'm totally fine with that, especially with the Yankees being ahead of Oakland right now and sort of increasing that lead slowly. I will easily sign up for 2 out of 4 out of Oakland and would be really happy with 3 out of 4. But yeah, let's just see what happens. And this will be a good test here as the Yankees hit the road, key road trip, and let's hope that they can continue their winning ways.